this is Enchanted Kid, and this is Enchanted Kid Presents Lindz. So today I got the privilege to interview her, so why don't we get into the interview?
All
Hey,
set.
Lindz.
Hi,
How are you?
doing pretty good. Getting ready for set champs. How are you?
Good. I'm going to ask you a few questions you're going to answer, and we get to talk about Lorcana.
Heck yeah.
What is your favorite ink color?
Amber, definitely. Since set one, I was very in love with Amber. I built an Amber Sapphire back in set one that I still love. I had a lot of fun with it. Mufasa came out in set two, and I was like, "Yep, Amber's my color." Which I've loved, but I'm also saddened with every set since set two. I feel like Amber has kind of fallen further and further behind everybody. And in most circles now, I think we all agree Amber's kind of in a vacuum. I think Amber is the weakest ink color currently. It's still good with singers. You can still try and do Mufasa stuff, but kind of outside of those, it's not doing much on its own. It's kind of a color you splash for some aggro, maybe. But I'm hoping in the future we start to see that shift. We get more character matter stuff, not just the singer focus, and we actually get some strong cards that become staples. I feel like most Amber decks right now are still running just the Rapunzels, the Ariels, the Cindy's, everything from sets 1 and 2. We haven't gotten new Amber cards that are really making the cut much.
I'm telling you, I want Bolt to make the cut. Like, it's good because the next set, we're going to have so many illusions with Jafar. Bolt's gonna someone's gonna create a Bolt. I'm talking about me. Is going to create a Bolt deck. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna get rid of all the illusions, or at least some of them. Probably not all of them.
Find the cards you love and then build a good deck around it. I think that's good. I like it. That's what we've tried to do with Mufasa. We're still trying.
If you could add one thing to Lorcana that we haven't seen in Lorcana yet, what would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. Gosh, I've had some interesting ideas in the past. I know I really want more, I guess to use a magic term, it's graveyard interaction, but here it would be discard interaction. Ways to play around discard with stuff like Perdita to bring cards back. I would add better ways to do that, and almost like ways to exchange characters from like your discard and in play. There could be some really cool stuff with that, and more like self milling, self getting rid of cards so you can bring them back later. I think that would be really cool and add a lot to Lorcana.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be really cool to have more interaction with that we can have Perdita and getting like stuff in our discard to kind of ramp up also for Chernabog. So we have a little bit of that, but seeing more of that would be really cool. So how long have you been playing Lorcana?
Since set one, I think I discovered the game a couple weeks before set one launched. So that was really lucky for me. I was leaving a different game that I was playing, a digital card game, the Elder Scrolls Legends, because Bethesda, who was running that, decided to stop supporting it. They basically were like, we tried this, we don't like it, we're going to focus on other things, we're done. So they literally just ended the game overnight. And I was like, I need to find something else because I really enjoy the strategy and competitive games. And I saw an ad somewhere for Lorcana. I saw Rockstar Stitch, and I was just like, "Yep, that's my game." I'm heading over there, and I hopped in a Discord that day and just started getting to know people and preparing for launch. It was a lot of fun.
How do you feel about Hiram and Fortisphere getting banned?
Hiram had it coming. I think 90% of people are comfortable saying that, seeing where we were. I knew Hiram eventually would be a problem. Since his release, we saw that he was just the best draw engine. Even Amethyst just didn't have something that could draw that consistently. The 6 willpower was way too much. Like Steel couldn't even kill it in one hit. Like he just keeps going. He's just 2 cards every turn you're just drawing, and that's too much for a 4-drop with those stats. So I think most anyone paying attention, especially to where set 7 went with the meta, we saw it coming. Like Hiram was gonna go. It was too much. They shouldn't have printed him as they did. It just took stuff like Tamatoa and Bell, like all these other big blue cards, to finally push it to a point where like it's a problem. Fortisphere, I think, got caught in the crossfire, and I don't fully agree with the ban. I think Bell was the problem. Just giving Sapphire so many of these cards that you can just play for free, even though they're the ramp color, they shouldn't be getting these cards they can play for free. Like they could get to higher inks faster already. Why do they get free cards too? So I think Bell is the problem. I think they didn't want to ban a new card, and I think as we get more items in the future, Bell is going to break again. She has a very high ceiling. She'll be way too easy to just keep rolling out. I predict Bell will still be a problem and will eventually need to be dealt with. And I think Fortisphere just kind of got caught in the crossfire there because they didn't want to ban a new card, I think.
No. The Fortisphere, yeah, I agree with that, because it got in the crossfire. Like, Bell would be a lot better, because as sets go on, we will start getting more 1-drop items, and that'll kind of coordinate with Bell. And even if, like, some people just, like, put Fortisphere in, like, some kind of, like, deck just to get, like, 1 draw, and then they can also use it for the bodyguard ability.
Yeah.
I feel like we're losing it in not only Steel or Seth Steel, but we're also missing it in a few other kind of decks.
I agree. Yeah, I think Fortisphere was a totally fine balanced card.
So have you had any like cool deck ideas that you haven't really gotten to try out yet, but are you still kind of looking to build?
Gosh, I'm always building so many different decks. I usually get the chance to test most of them. I mean, I keep trying to make an Amber Sapphire kind of song ramp deck a thing. It's tough. But it's always in the back of my mind. I've built it for a couple sets and just kind of never found a good flow with it, but it's one that I'm interested in. The biggest issue being there's not much removal in those decks, and there's not outside of like the Floodborn Grandma Tala, there's not good win conditions, like ways to just close out the game with it. So I'm waiting for more stuff for it, but I think it's an interesting deck idea, like using Cindy with singing 1-jump, and things like that, using Ariel to find the ramp songs. It's been on my mind. It's one that I tinker with, but I don't think it's quite there yet.
Yeah, I've been trying to get Amber Sapphire to work with different things.
Mm-hmm.
I tried aggro with the Alice and getting some like ward.
Yep.
I've tried that. I've tried princesses with the songs. I played it once and decided that it was not going to work.
Trust me, I understand. This set I did build I called it support Fossa. Lots of support characters, and then running the bodyguard mini and World's Greatest Criminal Mind, and using support on enemy characters to remove them. I think it's okay. I don't think it's a tier 1 deck. I don't think it's as good as Ruby Mufasa, where your characters just come out and kill stuff. But I think it has potential. Again, I just don't think support got enough support. But fun ideas. Why Steel Song right now? What's your decision process on playing Steel Song?
So in the beginning, I saw that Bolt was coming, and I wanted to do a deck based on bolts because it's a dog who's in a TV show and then goes out into the world and finds out that there's something more.
Yeah.
And I just like love the storyline of that movie and everything. And so I wanted to build a deck around Bolt. So I did Amber Steel and I just like went all out, like all the bolts, all the pennies, the rhinos, the mittens, try to do like this whole bodyguard thing. Wasn't really working very well for me. So I was losing to Ruby South a lot. And I was like, okay, if I want to do set champs, I'm going to need something a little bit more competitive. And so I asked a few people for their opinions and what they think that I should do. And they said that Steel Song would be a good one, and we could do like the bolt shifts still with Sven.
Yep.
So I decided that I was gonna try that, and so that's how I got to Steel Song. Originally, I was running the whole new world version, so like one drop, two bolt, shift three, sync whole new world. But then I didn't really like the whole new world. I never really liked whole new world. It's not my favorite card because it gives the other opponent like 7 cards as well, which it's not the best because it can hurt them, but it also could help them. And so I decided that, why don't I try the other 5 cost steel song from set 1. So I tried to grab your swords instead. And it's been helping me a lot. So that's how I got with this build. So
I think that's fun with no whole new world, because when we were playing that first game, I know I was like, I'm not able to draw cards. I really need you to sing whole new world to draw me cards, and you weren't. So sometimes opponents will do that against Steel Song, try to dump their hand as much as I can and be like, okay, you draw me cards now. So when Steel Song doesn't, then that can kind of hurt. So that's not a bad idea.
Also for you, it fuels Chernobog, and I don't want that.
Which I'm actually not running in my deck right now, but it is always a threat in Mufasa for sure.
Yeah, Chernodogs. Some aggro run it too, so it's like I'm also fueling that for you, and it's just like, okay, that's not my best option for me.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your favorite card ability?
I think I'm most known for my love for Mufasa, and I love his ability. I like where like if you do banish him, I'm still gonna get a benefit. I like strategizing around that. I love when he first came out. It was kind of our first way to play around Be Prepared. I know set 1 and 2, people really hated Be Prepared. We didn't have the Ursulas to rip the songs. We didn't have Pete, to stop actions. So Mufasa was one of the only ways where like the turn before Be Prepared, I love just, even though it's turn 7, I put my 5 drop down and I'm like, there's Mufasa. Do it. Like, you can be prepared. I will still get a character out of it. So I really like that, and I hope we get more like that in our in Lorcana. That's another thing I would love more of, is just when this is banished, do something. I think that'd be cool. I don't think we have enough of it yet.
Yeah. One card that I think that would be like really cool to see, and it could be any kind of card that like if you banish it, then like all opposing characters go into that player's like discard or inkwell or something like that, or bottom of the deck, like whatever. So
that'd be dangerous, but yeah, that could be fun.
So we met in Vegas. So how did you do in Vegas?
282nd place, and I was still running Mufasa then, so I felt pretty good about that placement with Mufasa, but obviously I hoped for a little better. I ran into too much Diablo discard, which is still Mufasa's worst matchup.
So have you gone to go to any of the other DLC?
So yeah, I went to Seattle actually, and did about the same there. I think that set I was on Steel Fasa with Doc. Doc was out then. And I was in the high 200s again, almost the same place I remember. So I was like, I'm still sitting like ahead of the pack. Like I'm more than halfway up, but not quite with the top players. I did end up, gosh, like round 3 or 4. I was at table like 30. I was up there pretty high, which felt good. And then I went 1-on-1 with someone that was running a Ruby Sapphire. He had a team jersey. He was really nice. But we drew that and then both kind of fell down, and I never quite got back up to the high tables.
We can talk about Love to Lore a little bit, because, like, why not?
Yeah. Love to Lore has been great. It's been quite a journey. When it first started, I just joined as a regular member. I was interested in a competitive team, and it's interesting and just how quickly it was like the leadership for the competitive team kept shifting. They asked me to help coach, which I've taken on now, and also helping moderate the Discord a bit. But it's been such a good server to have for women and other marginalized genders to just have a space to be able to talk Lorcana and talk about some of the issues that we face that are very unique in this sort of space. Because I feel like as a TCG, we are like we have a lot more women in this TCG than others. So we're facing some unique challenges that I think it's good to have that camaraderie to talk about and have a space that's safe to discuss that, and then also help better ourselves and try and push for more women getting into these competitive games, getting on to, I know we're part of the ICL league now, competing with that, which has been fun, and just wanting to push to get some players up in those top spots, I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's been really, like, the Love to Lore members have been so, like, supportive with everything, and, like, how often they're just like, let's play a game, like, let's just hop on. And
Mm-hmm.
like, it is awesome how, like, we all can bounce off each other's ideas with decks, and even just, like, talking. It's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I love being able to let it feels like such a good group of people to talk through deck ideas, deck building, and play styles and decisions. Because I feel like in some servers that I go into, it's not that way. If I build my deck a certain way, some people just be like, oh, you shouldn't play that. That's terrible. Like, just do this. But there's no explanation. They just kind of put you down. And in Love to Lore, I'd much rather, I want us to build each other up and be like, have you tried this? Like, here's my thinking behind it. But like, let's be supportive and kind while we try to help each other do better. I think that's been really nice.
What would you say is your favorite card art?
Ooh, that's an even better question. Oh my gosh. Um, card art. I mean, I really wish I had an enchanted blue Mufasa. I think that's one of the best we've gotten. I also like this. What was it? Set 6. It was either set 5 or set 6. The Floodborn Mother Gothel with her big red dress. Love. I want to cosplay that someday. I love that art. And then we've seen the starter deck images for the next set, and just seeing the art of the new Stitch has me very excited. I'm excited for that. So those would probably be my top 3.
So, what is your prediction on the live stream that is happening on Tuesday?
Oh goodness. I mean, I think we'll see some cards. I don't think anyone's not predicting that, but I think um like was said, we're just gonna get a glimpse into the future, and I think I'm really excited for that. I know that we've been in kind of this slump of news for a bit. Things have felt quiet, and I'm hoping this lorecast addresses that and shows us how they're going to change that and be more responsive and grow the game more in the next year.
I'm hoping that they reveal some of the DLC season for this one, because that would be so
That too.
nice.
DLC Denver, please.
Yeah. So where can people find you on socials?
So I'm mainly on Discord. I'm on a lot of Lorcana Discords as IllumiqueerLindz. You've probably seen me around. I feel like at this point I'm more of a Discord personality than a content creator. But I'm also on Blue Sky. I left Twitter and went to Blue Sky, so I'm IllumiqueerLindz on there. I'm also on Instagram. Um, I think those are pretty much my main. And then obviously you can follow me now on Dreamborn, I think, and see all the decks that I post. I'll be sharing my Set Champs decks once we get those rolling this weekend.
Yeah. It was such a joy to talk to you and play a game. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. You can follow me at Enchanted Hunter on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram, and Queston. So you were playing Mufasa, and as we were playing our game, there was a few things that I wanted to point out about your deck that I thought that was just like really cool, and some cool combos that I wanted to talk about. The first one is the Gaston with the Raya. So
yes.
How is that working out for you in your playing style?
It is one of my favorite things about the deck. I think, and I know some other Mufasa players will agree with me. Raya, like at first, I think people were skeptical of Raya, but once we started playtesting, it became very clear that like if you hit the Raya, Gaston, Rapunzel turn 4 combo, I think Humble put it best and called it Exodia. Like you win. There are very few games where turn 2 it's Gothel, turn 3 it's Gaston, and then turn 4 it's Raya. You use Gaston, play Raya, ink a card which lets you untap Gaston, and then you have 2 ink left with Gaston to play the Rapunzel, heal the Gothel, draw 3 cards. So I've gotten 2 4-drop characters on board and drew 3 cards on turn 4. There are very few games where you lose when that happens. You have so much board presence. It's not the easiest combo to get off, but every time I've won the game, so I keep it in my deck. So I'm like, it is here where like if I can hit it, like we pretty much shut down the game. It's over. It's a lot for any deck to deal with. So I really love that combo. I love Raya. She's one of my favorite cards.
So with the character basis, I saw that you were playing with the Teeth and Ambitions with the Prince Eric. Now,
Yes.
I've tried that combo many times, but I haven't gotten it to work before, and I wanted to see if you had.
So a lot of times it really depends on when I'm able to play the Eric. If I'm ahead, I'm just questing the Eric and I make my opponent deal with it. If I'm behind, it is a nice combo to be able to pull off to, like, if I can't get to my Mal Dragons, which cost 9, and my opponent has a big Steel Cindy on the board, or I'm playing against Chernadogs and they have Chernabog on the board, I need to get my Prince Eric out of here as soon as possible so I can get rid of the character that I can't get rid of otherwise. It's just really strong to have a character with a banish ability on it, I think. So I think he's worth a slot right now because we're running Teeth. I would not be running Teeth if it weren't actually for the deck you were running. Steel Song is the entire reason I've decided I need to run Teeth. I'm also running Nalas in my deck as a 1-drop option, so I can play Nala, and turn 2 I can do Teeth on my Nala and then do 2 damage to the Cinderella. Because that Cindy starts singing songs and blowing up everything I play, and it's a sad time. But because I'm running Teeth is why I decided, let's try Eric again. Now that I have the Teeth I have to run, let's try putting more combos in with it so I can try and do more fun stuff and more proactive stuff with Teeth.
Yeah, even having like, let's say your opponent's playing Steel Song and they have that big Cindy out, and then they also have Smee that's exerted and has like 1 damage. You could run the Prince Eric into the Smee and then also get rid of the big Cindy. Like,
yep.
Your opponent has to like think even more about like some combos that you can pull out with that. And I think that that kind of just like starts making them think, and then like it's like, whoa.
Yeah. I like cards like Eric and cards like Raya that basically once I put them on the board, my opponent has to start thinking a lot harder about what they're doing. I'm forcing them to have to play more conservatively, and I think that's a big advantage. People don't take advantage of that enough. Play things that force your opponent to have to play around, because it helps you then try and get your tempo back up and play the way you want to play. So I like it. I think Eric is a pretty decent card. My other option was going to be Hydra, but I'm running so many 6-cost uninkables as it is, I didn't want to brick too much on that.
No, and I feel like at least with the colors that you're running with Mufasa, getting up to 4 and like getting the Gastons and the Rayas and then like the Rapunzels and starting to get those out, then eventually you will be able to get to that. But like starting to get that setup takes it takes a minute to get like ready and get set up for everything. Like almost, I'm gonna say almost, because almost every deck needs a few turns to like to get a good board setup. Aggro, you literally play Daisy, turn 2, play 2 daisies. It's that's your board. Like
yep. Yeah.
So set champs are coming up this weekend, and I know we talked a little bit about this in our game, but how are you feeling for set champs? What is your kind of vibe?
I'm feeling pretty good. I know what a lot of my locals run, but I do know it will still be a wide meta. Here in Denver, Steel Song does tend to be very popular. This is kind of where it got popular in set 1. There was a big Denver tournament in set 1 that Steel Song won that, and that was the first time a not Ruby Amethyst won something big, and it was kind of a big deal. But we have a good range, so I've teched my decks to hopefully deal with that. I'm running Ruby Mufasa for some of them, trying to put in some more higher willpower stuff to live the early Steel Song turn so I can get to my big stuff. And then I also have Blurple, which in the past has also done poorly into Steel Song, funny enough, but I've got some tech in that for it as well. I'm pretty excited to test them out this weekend. I should be playing set champs pretty much all month, so this first weekend's kind of testing ground. See where things are at.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of for everything. Like the first week is what is going to be more competitive, if it's going to be the Ruby Amethyst or Steel Song, or even maybe we can get some Mufasa up there, because that would be amazing.
We're trying.